Welcome to NNN Engineers. I'm your host, Chris Tysis, and we are here to talk about, how I pick and select the games that I stream on YouTube and I guess on Facebook, and looking into that sort of thing. So, as you know, I have the Switch, which is the Pro controller here, and we have the Super Nintendo, which is modified. So I'm never going to be a brand ambassador. That's okay. And also to that, we have the PS4, and we do have the Nintendo 64 coming in to be added to that collection. So we have a spanning generations of the Switch, NES, Super Nintendo, Sega Master System, Mega Drive, Atari, Game Boy Advance, PS4 games, and that also includes some of the retro stuff, PS2 and PS3 eras, remasters, and all that sort of stuff. So that's a lot of games to choose from, and sometimes that's a bit tough to sort of pick out what games are. Generally, the games that work view-wise is multiplayer games like Smash Brothers and Mario Maker and Mario Kart and Pokemon, and sometimes it's a bit like Wave. Sometimes, there'll be times where it's pretty popular and times they're not. And then you have games that are not so popular, such as indie games. Generally don't do that well unless you really prepare for it and get people to sort of get the cattle dog out there and round up all the sheep to join the streams and that. Because you got to make a much bigger effort to promote indie games and sort of try to sell it a bit more. Single player games, like single player Nintendo games, do okay, depending if it's a big game that's coming out. I probably have skipped some of them, like I didn't do Xenoblade Chronicles, the original. I'm not going to do Paper Mario due to budget issues, and I'm not too sure how I would, if I would enjoy the Paper Mario series. I'm not really big on it. But we will be doing the Pokemon expansion pass stuff, which is excellent. That's going to be a lot of fun to play with, and I'm really happy about that. So how do I pick all these games? Like, all these PS4 games here, and all these Switch games, and all these retro stuff. So, I tend to play the games that I enjoy the most, which I think is important. So, we've done Pokemon Yellow, technically all of it. I've got to go back to that one day. But we've done like the Donkey Kong Country trilogy on the Super Nintendo, and you sort of got to look at what's sort of popular at the moment. So we mix in multiplayer games with a couple indie games, or experimenting with the PS4. So we've tried some PS4 games, and some of them are not rated very well on a Nintendo channel, which is surprise, surprise. So that was one of the reasons why we did... we made the Facebook page. Now, we could have gone on Mixer, which I think is a really bad thing. Mixer's going nowhere as a platform. We could have done Twitch and done something like that, but Twitch is... this discoverability is really, really poor in that respect. So even if I got people to come, like if I got 8 to 10 people coming along, I think that would be pretty tough. And I think with some of Twitch's stuff, that's become an issue as well. So it's just difficult for me. But I find Facebook is easy to get likes and people to join up, because I've been on the platform for over 10 years and I know a lot of people and stuff like that. So it's not too bad. I think it's pretty good like that. So generally, during the week, it's really hard to predict what type of games that I feel like playing during the week, because I know that people want like the next week of games to be announced, and sometimes I can do that. Recent times I haven't, because of the pandemic and everything's sort of routine sort of thrown out the window, because I'm not too sure what games will do well on certain days, and still going through a lot of PS4 games that we'll play, like maybe God of War, or the current selection of games that I have on the PS4. You probably saw maybe a couple streams ago me showing off the whole collection at the end of what was the game that I played? I can't remember. I did do that, yeah. But I think the way that I pick and select them is mainly the multiplayer games, followed by some indie games or smaller games. And I know that those streams don't do well, and sometimes I do get a bit worried about that. Like if I really wanted to have a big month or a good period, then you sort of run through the multiplayer games, over and over, which I don't really want to milk. Like, for example, I would play Smash Brothers once a week. Now, we might do better if we played it a couple times a week or played that sort of thing. But I know that I don't want to over milk those games and people get sick and tired of it. We're obviously not a channel that just plays one game all the time, which I think would sort of kill the channel a fair bit. People play Mario Kart all the time, or especially Animal Crossing has been milked a lot. And I've played Animal Crossing a bit too, so we decided to give that a bit of a rest, and we'll start it up later on. I'm sure that there will be one on Facebook or something like that. So, but I think that what we'll do for now, I think with the streaming, the current streaming future, is we'll keep doing the multiplayer. Pokemon comes back on the 17th with the expansion pass, so we'll probably continue to rest Pokemon for the time being. We might do one a few days beforehand, just to sort of build up people's excitement. And we'll keep an eye out for any other Nintendo games that are coming out. I know a couple rumors. There's a reason why I'm holding off on doing anything Mario related. And you'll find out later on why through Nintendo announcements. Fingers crossed that the rumors are true. So it's sort of how I pick and choose my games. It's fairly relaxed. It's sort of currently, I guess that we're looking at the PS4, looking at what games that we could play a little more regularly. I guess multiplayer games or something like that. It's really hard to do open world games because it chews up a lot of time, and especially games that require a huge learning curve. Like, I don't have time to invest 50 hours into one PS4 game that might not be that good, or people don't generally watch. So that makes it difficult in that respect. So it's a difficult thing to do. But I think that we're getting the stream schedule right. That, my starting times have started a bit later, and things get a little bit higgledy-piggledy at times with the pandemic and the changing environment. But I think that we've done well. This year has been great, being monetized and all that sort of stuff. So things are working out slowly. So yes, that's pretty much the gist of how I pick games. And if you do have any questions about it, just do, type it in the comments, or we have any suggestions for games and things like that. Do type them in. I may or may not play them, but it's funny because, I've got 120 games on the Switch. I've got 60 games on the PS4 now, and probably about 150 on this. So that's a big number, isn't it? That's like over 300 games. So sometimes it's a bit tough to pick which ones to play. And also, too, it's a little annoying when you own so many games and then someone suggests you a game that you don't own. And it's like, damn. It's a little bit annoying. But, things like our Patreon has been helping out a lot in terms of getting things like the PS4 hard drive and the Pokemon expansion stuff. And we'll look at what other content that we can get out there in different games. So we like to play with our Facebook page and YouTube. Like, for example, we would play maybe a PS4 game once on YouTube just to, for people to look at. And then we would stream that game probably on Facebook more often. So Facebook is really for games that are not quite good enough or quite popular enough to be on YouTube. Or if I wanted to play Smash Brothers twice in a week, or play Mario Kart twice in a week, I can get away with that and put it on Facebook. So people who follow YouTube and Facebook and they're a big Fortnite fan, looking at you, Geordie, they've got a chance to play with me twice a week if I sort of feel up to it. So that shouldn't be so bad. So Okay, I've mumbled on for 10 minutes. Didn't actually mean to do that. But, yes. And in other news, Whisker's doing well. He's on the mend. He's actually staring at me now. Maybe I can just get him into the video. Is he going to do it? I think he will. Oh, here he is. He's saying hi. But yes, he's getting better health-wise. He's had a few health issues, as a past NNN episode I talked about. But he's getting better. Little nudges. He's a little bit quiet. Oh. But he's getting better. I'm slowly getting things done. You know, the new lounge and stuff like that. And the N64 coming in less than 2 weeks. It's going to be really exciting. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be a bit of a crazy time trying to schedule PS4 games, N64, and the Pokemon expansion stuff. So a lot of exciting things to happen. And if I have missed out on anything, and I've yapped on too long, do let me know in the comments what you'd like me to stream or do for the stream show, or any general suggestions for the stream show. Anything you'd like to see me do or stuff like that. So, that's it for me, and I'll see you next time.